Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to give the chemical name for some ionic compounds that happen to have polyatomic ions involved. So, first thing, we're going to try to split them into the various ions. This one is pretty easy actually because you've got a metal and then you have your polyatomic ion. So it's very clear to see. Your polyatomic ion is within brackets, and we can just go back. We can take these subscripts and we can uncrisscross them. So we can rewrite them back as their ions. CO3 plus and C2O4 2 minus. Okay, let's take a look for CO on our periodic table. You'll notice that CO is going to be cobalt. So you would write that name down, cobalt. And cobalt happens to have more than one charge on that periodic table. So we'll write down that 3 so that we know that it's a charge of 3. And then we're going to take a look in our table of common ions for C2O4 to try to figure out what its name is. So C2O4, and we have oxalate. And we're going to just write that down, oxalate. And it's just as quick as that. You really, for the most part, need to figure out whether or not your other ion that is just one atom, what its charges are, and if it has more than one charge, you need to write down what that charge is. Okay, we're going to do one more. I'm going to take a look at this question. You have a whole pile of atoms. First of all, it's going to be important to try to figure out where to split this. Okay, so you take a look at it. We're going to try to see if there is anything here that we can find on our table of common ions. So we don't see any Cu, okay, but we can see that we have our H, our HPO4, okay, and HPO4 is monohydrogen phosphate. Okay, so we need to know that name. We know that one is our polyatomic ion. We can split it right there. Let's write them down as their ions. So right here we notice that there's no brackets and there's no subscript beside the Cu, which means that normally we'd have ones and those ones would get crisscrossed, so you could write that down as +1 and HPO4 -1. But looking back at our table of common ions, the charge for HPO4 is actually 2-. It's not -1. Okay, we're going to have to fix that. That means when we went from the name to the formula, we had tidied up and we had simplified. We're going to have to multiply both of these charges by 2. So times 2 to give us Cu plus a charge of +2, and HPO4, the charge that it's supposed to have, charge of -2. Okay, so now all we need to do is determine whether or not Cu, or copper, has more than one charge. take a look at your periodic table, you'll notice that it has two different charges. Oh, that's a positive. You'll notice that it has two different charges, so that means we need to write this down. Okay, so copper 2, and then HPO4 was our monohydrogen phosphate. There we have our monohydrogen phosphate. Okay, and that's all we need to do.